but now they don't give visa anymore. But because the COVID have many visas, so I make a derogative. They give me 1 more year visa. But when I went to I did my COVID, but they said no, they don't want it. You can travel without the COVID, only for Turkish. But another company will ask that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Takisa, you do business in Turkey too?
Excuse me?
You do business in Turkey too?
No. I am my base in China. Sometimes because China doesn't give visa anymore. That's my problem. So we hope that's why I'm celebrating the Joe Biden, because we hope he's going to open the border and you can start doing business with China. We hope. Yeah, because it's very difficult.
I think so the one who want to close, Trump is the one who want to open everything.
Ivo.
Oui.
Quelqu'un peut voir la date?
Tu m'as envoyé le truc là, c'est vrai aussi. Le truc de confinement retourne encore.
Oui, ça retourne.
Come on.
Le 12.
Trop dangereux. Très dangereux parce que même ici, ça juste devenu trop grave. Tu vas voir ce qui va se passer avec Biden, non? On va encore refermer, encore tout.
Mais Trump voulait ouvrir. Trump
il ne voulait pas ouvrir, il faisait le malin. Voilà, tu as vu qu'aujourd'hui, on a annoncé que le vaccin est sorti. Le vaccin est sorti aujourd'hui, non? Tu n'as pas appris ça?
C'est tout.
Le vaccin que Corona est sorti aujourd'hui. Attends, il faut faire ça. Il ne veut pas
même cadeau.
Comme ça. I don't want to record those type of things. Let's go first for the school.
Okay.
Which date? Somebody can just.
Corinne, let me send it to you, please.
Okay, send to me.
Corinne, after you sent to the group, I beg.
Okay, let me just send it to you.
Send to the group, Monica.
There's more, I'm coming.
Oh.
Have you seen it, Corinne?
Yeah, I'm seeing. I want to open. That is database configuration you sent. I think so. Is the slash you're gonna send the. There's the one you want, guys.
Slide.
That's the one you were asking for this morning.
That one is a script. So
no, that's for Corinne. Sorry.
Okay.
That's for me. Yeah.
Sorry.
Attends, je vais envoyer ça.
sent it.
Do you see my script? Hello? Hello, guys.
Yes, Corinne, we can see your screen.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
We are watching you.
You go ahead. You are ready for the presentation. Okay, you want me to read or what?
Yeah, read and explain.
I don't say I'm going to explain anything. Okay. Oracle high availability scenario. Before in the past, when you did not have ATM, you had to wait until when the bank is open for you to be able to withdraw money. In emergency scenarios, in case the bank is closed, consumer should wait until the next business day or borrow some money to somebody before return back the money will the bank will open. But with the arrive and expansion of ATM, the consumer was now able to access his account and withdraw the money at any time of the day. I think so this one is easy for everybody to understand, right? Oracle HR Solutions, Oracle Flashback. The purpose of Flashback is mainly to solve human errors. Yeah. Oracle Data Guard, more efficient when it comes to site failures. So the Oracle Data Guard is performant for troubleshoot, for failure, yeah. Oracle RAC, more efficient when it comes for server failure. With Oracle RAC, if one instance or node is unavailable for a short period of time, the client will switch to the next available node. Excuse me, what is node?
It's mode. It's surely an error.
Ah, okay.
No, I think no. It's available. No, I don't think it's an error. I think I've seen it somewhere. Wait a second. I think I've seen it somewhere. Okay. So, okay. So, according to Google, The Oracle definition of node represents any organization, application, or system that will play a part in integration. For example, nodes can represent customers. Hey, am I the one or someone is doing it? Okay. So nodes can represent customers, business units, suppliers, and other trading partners. So whenever we talk about nodes, it is either customers, business units, suppliers, or trading partners. So in this case, when they say Oracle hack more efficient when it comes to for server failure, with Oracle Rack, if one instance or node is unavailable for a short period of time, I believe in this case that node can be a software. Can be a software, a third-party software. So whatever software you can think of, an instance or a software. So this is the node in this case. So I think it wasn't an error.
Definition. Oracle DataGuard is a software available.
Can you make it Bitcoin?
Big.
Possible?
I don't think so.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's possible.
At the same percentage, just bring it like in the middle.
Okay.
Oh. You can't. That one is the problem for my
Try to
phone.
double click on the screen. Let's see if you can zoom it. Oh,
Corinne, why don't you just make it full screen so we don't see your WhatsApp?
Thank you.
And you can close, like where you see on the left side, you just hit close at the bottom of the page.
I can close.
Okay. Okay, do enable editing.
Yeah, it's noble, yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's a little clearer now.
Definition. Oracle DataGuard is a software available with the database that creates, maintain, or monitor one or more standby database to protect enterprise data from failure, disaster, error, and corruption. DataGuard maintains their standby database that synchronized copy of the production database. Their standby database can be located at remote disaster recovery site thousands of miles away from the production data center, or they may be located in the same city, same campus, or even at the same building. Even though it is recommended that the standard should be in an opposite geographic location from the primary. I think so, yeah, like I understand, I don't say you are getting well. To just let her know DataGuard with the maintain the copy for the original database with standby database, who can be located on the same building, on the other state, or the same city. but they say it's recommended to be on the opposite geographic location for the primary. I don't know why. Why is
Okay,
it?
okay, Corinne, before you continue, I have a question, a quick question. The second paragraph of your slide says that DataGuard maintains. Oh, okay. Okay. That's fine. I thought it was 3 instead of this. So what was your question, Corinne?
My question was what they say the opposite geographic location.
So I think in case of the disaster, like a hurricane, right?
But
Like if you have the primary here in Maryland and the standby in Texas, in case we have a disaster here,
yeah.
so the standard going to survive.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason.
But the problem here, when you see they say they may be located in the same city, same campus, or even in the same building. Even though it is recommended, so that is recommended, but it can be in the same building. You can have a database in the same building.
Yeah, but it
doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's just recommended. So the answer is recommended, the way Herman said, in case of disaster. That's why they put that DataGuard.
It is actually recommended that the standby should be in a different geographical location. It is not recommended that both the source and the target should be in the same location, because the DataGuard is a technology that is based on disaster recovery. It is this one is based on just recovering data in case of a crash. So they prefer that the target should be in a different location, just like Emma was trying to, I don't know, I think it's Emma, so that if there's a problem, they can, that the other data can survive the problem that the other one, the source was
primary.
Yes, in Maryland. So though this slide says it can be in the same building, but it is more recommended that it shouldn't be in the same building.
Recommended.
Yes.
That was the answer. It's recommended. Go, Corinne.
In DataGuard, the redo or the archive load is executed on the standby that's in the primary. So in the DataGuard, you're just working with the redo on the archive log. DataGuard supports both physical standby and logical standby seat. Oracle Corporation makes DataGuard available only as a build factor include in its enterprise edition. A standby database is a consistent copy of an Oracle production database that is initially created from a backup copy of the primary database. But I think so that is clear for everybody. On 11G, you can configure up to 29 DR servers.
Disaster recovery service.
Importance of DataGuard. Disaster recovery, data protection, and high availability. Easy to manage, switch over and fail over capacity, allow run reversal between primary and standby database. Minimizing the downtime of the primary database for planned and unplanned outage. Complete database protection. DataGuard can ensure zero data loss, even in the face of unforeseen disaster, because the redo data received from a primary data is valid at the standby database. Storage level physical corruption on the primary database do not propagate to the standby database. Similarly, similarly,
Similarly,
corruption or user errors that cause the primary database to be permanently damaged can be resolved. So yeah, you just let us know data don't ensure zero data loss because every redo data or every copy to the redo data was made to on the primary database is made to on the standby database. Yeah. Efficient use of system resource. The standby database table that are updated to redo data received from the primary database can be used for other tasks, such as backup reporting. Automatic gap detection and resolution. If connectivity is lost between the primary and one or more standby database, for example, due to network problems, redo data being generated on the primary database cannot be sent to those standby database. Once a connection is re-established, the missing archive redo log file, referred to as a log gap, are automatically detected by DataGuard, which then automatically transmit the missing archive redo log file to the standby database. The standby database are synchronized with the primary database with a manual intervention by DBA.
that's a very high one. That's a very good
Yeah,
advice.
that's a very good, yeah. Somebody, Sakisa, can you explain this part, please, and move a little bit?
Oh, okay, Corinne. So I don't need to read, right?
Explain.
So, which part are you? Importance of data guard, right? Corey, are you listening to me?
It's an automatic role transitions.
The
last one.
This is the automatic gap detection and resolution, right?
The next one.
Okay. Automatic role transition, I got it. When fast start follower is enable the data guard broker automatically fail over a synchronized standby site in the event of a disaster at the primary site requiring no intervention by the DBA. Okay, anything else? Corey.
So I feel what I was trying to say is that when we're installing the data guard, there's this faster failover. When we enable it, when it's on, it helps the data guard to automatically synchronize the standby when we have issue of failover. So we don't have to do it manually when we have disaster failover, or we don't have to start going over recovering manually all over again. You can take the next slide, Sakisa. I don't think Corinne is here.
I'm here. I'm already here. Yeah. So
let me say something here.
On this paragraph, this is like a when the make the redo log in the primary database is not automatically made on the standby, because if it's automatically when they have a problem connection, it's already made over there. But they say when they have when they have an issue with net connection, they don't have the redo data to the other sites. That means, I think so, I don't know if I'm right. That
Say
means,
that again. I don't understand.
I say, when they make the redo data on the primary, right? It's not automatically made on the standby database.
Can I say something about
There is a process.
About that?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
This fast start failover is a parameter that is being set in the PFI of the primary database. This parameter is set in such a way that if there's a problem, should in case the primary database has a problem, it will automatically fail over for the standby to take over. But in a situation where you did not set this parameter, this fast start failover, you have to manually go and switch the database over. You have to go to the command line now as a DBA and start typing. That switch database to this, to that. But whereas if you had set this parameter, it would have failed, it would have automatically done it. Even in the night when you're sleeping, something happens to the database, it will automatically does it for you. But so far, Gaetan equally said this parameter is good, but it's not that good. Because with this parameter, even if you have an issue, maybe a light issue in your house, it will just immediately the lights just make it just switch over the database. But one thing that is good is that when it switches over like that, you don't lose data because automatically that switch over and that one has become the primary. Even if you have lags, when you want to switch it back to the primary, you can always shift the data. The data that wasn't shipped, maybe the lags that the database had. But with the switch over now, which is not a failover, it can be done by a DBA, maybe like you as a DBA. You might want to do some things on a test database. You prefer not to do it yourself. Maybe you can take some downtime and just switch it over to another one, maybe the snapshot. You do all your activities that you want to do, then you bring it back to the primary. So with the switch over, it is a manual, it's a DBA done thing. It's not something that is being done by a parameter, but with the fast start failover, it's being done by a parameter that you, the DBA, set in the process of configuring a data guard.
Okay, I got you. I don't know if I got you very well, but it's like I don't know if you understand my point, because I was thinking when they have a data, the redo data on the primary, they have the same time.
You guys are saying different things.
Yes, that's why I think so. She don't get.
She's talking about the fast start failover. You're talking about the automatic gap detection and resolution.
Oh, she was still up. Sorry.
Yeah, you guys are saying.
Okay, sorry. I was explaining the automatic because I heard of automatic and it wasn't saying what I know. So I thought that she made an error.
She was talking about the
automatic gap detection.
She was talking about the detection.
Is there?
Solution.
Okay.
Automatic oral transition. When fast start failover is enabled, the data guard broken automatic failover to a synchronized standby sat in the event of a disaster at the
Where are you reading?
Requiring no intervention by the
Okay.
data guard recommendation.
Okay.
Both prod and DR system must be the same in hardware, processor, CPU, memory for high performance. Both prod and DR must have the same file system.
So what is that DR?
Data recovery.
Data guard recommendation.
Okay. Data guard recommendation. Okay.
The Oracle home location must be the same of Same for both primary and standby. Recommended but no mandatory.
Wait 1 second, please. You guys said DR is DataGuard recommendation.
ER is data disaster
Disaster
recovery.
recovery. not
Disaster
DataGuard
recovery. That's
recommendation.
production and disaster recovery.
Yeah.
Production, okay. The Oracle home location must be the same for both primary and standby. Recommended but no mandatory.
It's not that obligated.
Any new change of the prod operating system should be applied also on the disaster recovery system. For instance, if you are patching the host operating system or change operating system parameter or adding a new mount point, the same change should be done on the standby servers as well. Example, let's assume a new table space is created and resides in a new disk created only on the prod server. The redo won't be applied on the standby if the same disk does not exist on the standby server. I'm lost a little bit here.
Where?
This slide is they're saying the prod and the disaster recovery system must be the same. They are just trying to explain to you that both database, maybe both system, both the primary and the standby, they should be the same. Just like they said, it's not an heterogeneous setup, which means everything should be the same so that it can work. Maybe the database location, the directories, the OS level, the CPU, all
the
of
memory.
that. Yes, it should be the same so that your database can be able to work.
DataGuard component, physical component, there are physical component and logical component. For physical component, there are primary database, standby database. Logical component, they have log switching service. They have log switching service and log apply service.
Log shipping.
Log shipping?
Yeah.
Log shipping service, sorry. A log apply service. Log shipping service transfer the log from the primary to the standby. A log apply service apply receive log from the primary to the standby database. It's like the name says, ship.
The log shipping is when they have an issue, when maybe there's a log gap between the primary and the standby. This log shipping is what is going to ship the data to the standby across the network.
Oracle DataGuard architecture. Primary database transition. So when they have the transition here, I'm going to try to explain. I don't understand, but I'm going to try. When they generate the redo primary database transition, redo both can I say when they have the redo?
Okay, I know you're probably sick of me talking about.
Let me see.
Corinne, whatever it is, just try what you think. I mean, what you think it is, just try.
When they have a transition, Redo buffer send that to the log writer who take the Redo log on the online through the archive Redo log. No, please, it's difficult. Help me. Bibish.
Yeah.
Please help me.
Okay, I can try to. So we do have both sides, like here is a primary, and that side we can say is a standby database. So there is a transaction in the primary database. So the primary database, he do buffer, the way I'm understanding, if I don't forget. So the he do buffer sent to the log writer. The LNS is a process on the primary database. The LNS is local network service. I don't know if I remember, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. So those are processed on the both sides. Here we call it local network service. On that side, we call it, no, let's go first here. I forgot RFS, so I have to check on my.
Receiving something. Receiving something.
Okay. So the log writer is going to send on the online Redo logs. So on that, the process that online Redo logs are going to send on the archive. So there is archive here, and we do have an archive also Redo logs. So there is a gap resolution. Every time there is a lack of like missing or something wrong, went wrong or bad on that side, there is a gap resolution. So is the archive is going to fix that, to send, if I don't forget, to send that gap resolution to this. I can check with I forget that RFS. Somebody knows about this. I have to check my book again.
I think it is remote file server.
Okay. So those are the process are doing on both sides. So on that side is going to send those gap resolution to that, the way Renata said.
Renata say you say remove what time?
Remote file server.
Remove file server, okay.
Okay, the way she said, okay. Remove file service, and here we can see those OracleNet is like the process who's controlling both sides. So they call it OracleNet. So if I don't forget, the remote file service is going to apply it, to send it to here, real-time apply. So we see 3 here. So the standby Redo logs on that side is standby Redo logs because we are on standby database. And on number is going to send on archive log the way it's doing on that side too. On that side, we do have archive Redo logs. On that side too, we do have archive Redo logs. We do have online Redo. On the standby, we do have standby Redo logs. So it's going to send it back to MRP or LSP. So is also the process who's being on standby side. So it's going to send those information on standby database. And we do have on one side, we do have a report. On one side, we do have a backup, like I don't know if it's a disk.
So basically, when the primary database have a transition, the information go to the Rodot log, who send to log writer, and the LNS take that information and bring that to the standby by RFS.
Yes, it's different. Both are on the primary we do have LNS. On the standby we do have RFS. So those are processed.
MRP. Who send the
MRP? The MRP order. So it's like the architecture of the database, standby and the primary database, but it's working like with process. We can see here, and both side has its own process, but the architecture is still the same because we do have a Redo here is online Redo. We do have a archive, and we do have also the archived Redo logs on the both sides. So that is my understanding.
Somebody want to add something? Yvonne, do you want to add something?
I think it's okay. The transaction is just as you see on the architecture, like from the Redo log buffers, since everything with data gadgets with the Redo. So it's just like if people
So the MRP is managed recovery process. Is a managed recovery process. Okay.
And even on the standby still has backups. You can still fall back to.
Type of standby database. Physical standby, Redo apply. A physical standby database replicates the exact content of its primary database across the Oracle network layer. Benefits: disaster recovery and high availability. Easy to manage switchover and failure capacities. Data protection provides a safeguard against data corruption and user errors. Storage level physical corruption on the primary database are not propagated to a standby database. Prediction in primary database workload. You can perform R-man backup on the standby database, saving valuable CPU and EO cycles. Performance. The Redo apply technology used by a physical standby database is the most efficient mechanism for keeping a standby database updated with change being made at the primary database. Logical standby. SQL apply. Logical standby database convert the Redo generated at the primary database into SQL and then reapply those SQL transactions on the logical standby. Because the logical standby database is updated using SQL statement, it must remain open, but its tables should be in read-only mode. They are being updated on the primary database. Benefit: minimize downtime on software upgrade. The primary is open, the standby can receive patch or be upgraded.
Support for reporting and decision support requirement.
Support for reporting and decision support requirement. So if I understand, the primary database should be open, right?
The physical, are you talking about the physical standby replica? Where are you?
Minimize downtime on software upgrade. Yeah, I know for the data the physical, when you do the configuration, the primary database should be open on the standby, should be on month mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the topic is here?
Yeah. So are you on disaster recovery or where are you? Data protections?
Logical standby, SQL apply.
Database workload. It seems like we are alone. People are not able.
No, she's not alone. She's not alone. We are listening.
I'm just joking. I see everybody there.
Okay, I asked the question. I asked this about when they say when you want to do the configuration for data guard, they say the primary database should be on open mode and the standby should be on mount mode. That is the one they talk about here.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Corey, the main thing we can return is we have two standby database, the physical record, that's it, and a little detail below.
Standby.
Yeah, you explain it. I think it's right. So you have the type of standby database. We have two. We have the physical standby and you have the logical standby, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to explain what is the physical standby you do apply. You also explain what is the logical standby SQL apply. I think everyone is at the. We are on the same place. I mean.
Yes.
Snapshot standby. A snapshot standby database is a type of updatable standby database that provides full data protection for a primary database. A snapshot standby database receives an archive but does not apply redo data from its primary database. Redo data received from the primary database is applied when a snapshot standby database is converted back into a physical standby database. After discarding all local updates to the snapshot standby database. Benefit. It provides an exact replica of a production database for development and testing purposes. We maintain data protection at all times. It can be easily refreshing to contain current production data by converting to a physical standby and resynchronizing. It may help in the scenario where you might not have dev, test, UAT, but only prod servers. Somebody want to say something here?
Where?
Yeah, snapshot standby.
The way this is clear there, the snapshot standby database.
Asking, Bibish.
Oh, okay.
Active standby. It resolves the read consistency problem, but use of return query. This enable a physical standby database to be open that's read only. We redo apply continuously, apply change, receive it from the production database. Benefit. Query and report can be offloaded from the production system. All queries at the standby database return up to date result. When you open your physical standby in read only, it becomes an active DG. Since, what is it?
When you apply, you open, is data guard. Data guard.
Since it comes with the enterprise editions as well, before you switch, make sure you buy an additional license for it.
So you have to buy.
A native data guard option license must be purchased in additional to Oracle Enterprise Edition in order to utilize this news capacity. It supports Argman blockchain tracking, physical standby enabling, Argman fast incremental backup to be offloaded from the primary database, automatic repair of corrupt block, fast sync, zero data loss protection across any distance. Why physical standby? You see production server, logical standby, snapshot standby, active database, physical standby. You can easily switch from physical standby to the other type. Okay. Data guard protection mode. Maximum performance. Assim, no AFM. This is default protection mode. It provides a high level of data protection that is possible without affecting the performance of a primary database. This is accomplished by allowing transaction to commit as soon as all redo data generated by those transactions has been written to the online lock. Redo data is also writing to one or more standby database, but this is done asynchronously with respect to transaction commitment. So primary database performance is unaffected by delay in writing redo data to the standby database. This protection mode offers slightly less data protection than maximum availability mode and has minimal impact on primary database performance. C'est comme si c'est cela.
Let us resume.
So,
no, so you mean that in data guard protection mode, you have two options. You have the maximum performance and you have the maximum availability. That's right. Comment tu le passes? On te suit. Peut-être les gens ne sont pas là. Peut-être c'est vraiment nous, le groupe, qui sommes là. Nous, la présentation.
No, we are there, Corinne.
No, we are there. We are there. I think we are there. Let's go up.
So we in data guard protection mode, we do have two maximum.
We have two. We have two subgroups. We have a maximum performance and the maximum availability.
So
that is described. That is described on below. So it's very easy.
That the first one is the default mode. So you can see.
We have three.
Yeah, sure.
We have maximum performance, maximum availability, and maximum protection mode. You usually see it on the other slide.
The next slide, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only see two.
What is the difference in between those three?
Where the third one?
You soon see it surely, but we have three Performance mode, yeah.
Clear here, Marinette. The first one is the default mode protections. It provides the highest level of data without affecting the performance of a primary database. So there is
data protection, security.
Yes. So the second one is maximum availability sync affirm net timeout. So also it's the highest level of data protection that is possible without compromising the availability of the primary database. Transactions do not commit until all Hadoop data needed to recover those transactions has been written to the online Hadoop log and to the standby Hadoop log of at least of synchronized standby database. In case it failed to do so, it will start behaving as it was. So I think it's like the third one is coming soon.
We do not really see the third one. Maybe it's
Next slide. It's coming on the next slide.
Yeah, everything must not be on the same slide. You see it on the next slide. We have 3. Okay. And those 3 are very important.
Maximum protection.
Maximum, max protection, max availability, yes.
This protection mode ensures that no data loss will occur if the primary database fails. To provide this level of protection, the Hadoop data need to recover a transaction must be written to both the online Hadoop log and to the standby Hadoop log on at least one synchronized standby database before the transaction commit. To ensure that data loss cannot occur, the primary database will shut down rather than continue processing transaction. If it cannot write its Hadoop script to at least one synchronized standby database, it's recommended to have at least 2 standby databases to ensure the availability of the primary database. Data guard processes.
Ouvre ça encore, Corinne, please.
Tu dis?
Essaie un peu d'agrandir, s'il te plaît. Can you make it big? Just take to the screen and you can just try to zoom it. Zoom it.
No, because it's an Apple editing.
Oh, yeah, enable editing.
Okay. Okay.
Bibi, please, can you take over? I'm tired already.
Okay, but let me see the next. Okay, but the problem is the way it's small, like my eyes. I don't like to force. So here we are talking about data guard processes. In the process, we can see we do have archiver process. Log writer is also a process. The remove file server and the fetch archive log. So we can say, like, for the first, the log transport service and the log apply service. From the backbone of the data guard environment, the log transport
Maybe it's too short. Corinne, enable the editing and adjust the plus sign under your enable. You should be able to enlarge it.
Yes, because it's really I cannot really. Corinne.
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Corinne, essaie de enable.
Je n'arrive pas, je ne sais pas pourquoi. C'est comme
enable si... enable editing.
Go there is a like enable.
Click on it.
That's what I'm doing.
You should click.
Try insert to try to see if you can insert. Over there, assist insert.
That insert.
Insert or view. Let's see if it can. Then click maybe enable editing so that you can zoom in or out. Let's see.
Web, maybe you make that because they say this file from the internet can contain various you need to edit. It's safe to stay in the protect view.
Go ahead. Yes, it's
okay. Are you using a touch screen?
No.
It's
because if it's a touch screen, you can even just touch it with your hand like this and zoom it even with your hand.
No, I'm using. I don't use the touch screen.
Maybe since you have a touch screen, you could share your own screen. You come to this slide and zoom it even with your hands if you are unable to do the zooming from the enabling.
Let me share the screen a lot back so I can try to. Let me open my WhatsApp first. Okay. We stop. She stopped on which page? 15, right? Or I think
go
so.
to 15. Go to 15. I hope.
Okay, we are here.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So DataGuard processes. On DataGuard processes, we do have the log transport service. Even the archive is a process. The log writer, the way we see on the primary, is a process. The remote file server, it was on the standby, and the fetch archive log is also a process. The log transport service and the log apply service from the backbone of the DataGuard environment. The log transport service starts on the primary database and complete on the standby database. The following processes facilitate the log transport service on the primary and the standby side, I don't know. Okay, the log transport service is a process who transport the service starting by the primary database and completed on the standby database. Those processes facilitate the log transport service on the primary and on the standby seat. Archiver process. The archive process, the way we saw on the architecture, is ARC or RCH. Is responsible for archiving online Hadoop logs. The way we see the architecture, everything was there. And the archival destination could be a local destination or a remote standby database seat. In the case of DataGuard configuration, one of the archival destinations must be a standby database. So those are the process. We go to the log writer. The log writer process on the primary database writes entries from the Hadoop log. We can understand those process is like when we check the one of the architecture, everything was there. So when Corinne asked for who can explain me, I tried to explain, but the explanation, everything is here clearly. The log writer process on the primary database writes entries from the Redo-Log buffer to the online Redo-Log file. In some cases, the log writer process writes Redo entries to the online Redo-Log file of the primary database and the standby Redo-Log file on the standby database. In some cases, the log writer process writes Redo entries to the online Redo-Log of the primary database and the standby Redo-Log file on the stand database. So the next process is the remote file server, RFS process. The RF process run on the standby database. So it's not the primary, but the standby, and is responsible for communication between the primary and the standby database. For the log transport service, if we go back, the RFS on the standby database receive the Redo record from the archiver on the log writer process on the primary database over Oracle Net and writes to the file system on the standby seat. So we also have the fetch archive log, we can call it file. The file process has two components, the file client and the file server. Both processes are used for archive gap resolution. If the managed recovery process, MRP, on the standby database seat detects an archive gap sequence, it initiates a fetch request to the file client on the standby side. So for the file client, we have it on the standby seat. This action in run requests the file server process on the primary database and he transmits the archive log file to resolve the gap sequence. So this process is detecting by the RMP, if I can understand, is managing like the recovery process, the RMP, on the standby database. So it can detect the archive gap sequence. So that was the process of the data guard. So we do have a MRP, managed recovery process. The MRP applies the Redo entries from the archive Redo logs on the physical standby database. So we go back to the SQL tree of Woody. How do you restart the MRP process? Done on standby server only. You shut down immediate. In startup, no mount. Alter database mount standby database. Alter database recover manage standby database disconnect from session. When they say disconnect from session, sometimes we think, I don't know, but like you stop the RMAP. But it's not you stop the RMAP, you start the RMAP. Because when you stop it, you will see cancel. Logical standby process, LSP. The LSP applies the Redo records from archived Redo logs to the logical standby database. The Oracle database log miner engine is used by the logical standby process from the SQL apply operations. Meaning using the log miner engine, so the LSP process recreate the SQL statements from the Redo log that have been executed on the primary database. These statements are then applied to the standby database to keep it current with the primary database. So that LSP, the way we see, it was on standby. It was on, it was on standby database. LSP, when I see this, let me see. No, that one, it was LNT, local network. Okay, it's different. That one is the standby. Once the log transport service complete the transmission of redo recall to the standby seat, the log apply service start applying the change to the standby. The log apply service operates slowly on the standby database. That was like a warning. So we go to the next page. So are you there, guys?
I'm there. We are there. Maybe
Yes,
some of us
Bibish,
are not
we
there.
are
We
there.
are there. We are
Some people are sleeping because we are not practicing. That one is Rubeto. So we are.
Bibish, I'm listening to you.
Really, David?
Yes.
So we are going to talk about the Oracle Data Guard Broker. So the Oracle Data Guard Broker, the way he said, it is distributed management framework that automate and centralize the creation, maintenance, and monitoring of that Data Guard configurations. The broker supports one or more Data Guard configuration, each of which include a profile from the primary database and each standby database. The Data Guard broker is used to automatically switch in case of failover or switch over, manually or automatically. So if we switch over and failover, the way we said before. The benefit of the Data Guard broker is for disaster protection, the way we said, in case of hurricane, in case of the primary has a problem, the primary can become a standby. And if we do have, with the way we do have those primary standby, the standby can become a primary by some process, the way we see. Automatic creation of the Data Guard configuration, easy configuration of additional standby database, simplify switch over and failover operation, transparent to the application. So we do have the switch over. The switch over is the planned event. The planned event is before the issue. You already know that we guarantee with no loss of data. So we talk about the planned events. Something doesn't happen, but we are planning it can happen anytime. So we have that switch over. I can read it now. Is a whole reversal between the primary database and one of its standby database. A switch over guarantee no data loss. This is typically done for planned maintenance of the primary system. During a switchover, the primary database transitions to a standby host and the standby transition to the primary. So we switch. The primary became a standby and the standby became a primary. So we plan that event in case of disaster. So I'm going to the next page.
Bibish.
Yes.
That switch over, is it manually or automatically?
You have to set it. When you
set up.
Yes, because the switch over, we do have two process. We do have the switch process.
The switch over is manually.
Yes, and
it's fast start, which is automatically.
You have to set it manually. The switch over, you have to set it manually. So every time.
Can you use both? Because just say that the disaster is at 9, you are sleeping. Mm-hmm. How do you going to do if you didn't
you remember the explanation I was giving the other time when Corinne was explaining something else concerning automatically, right?
Yeah.
This is where it comes. This switch over is being done manually by you, the DBA, maybe when you want to do maintenance, or maybe you want to test something, or maybe another, maybe you have switched over to maybe a snapshot standby. You want to maybe do some transaction, want to do some testing before you use it in the database. But for the fast start failover, it's a parameter that you go and set. Yes. Should in case of a crash or in case of a problem, it will automatically switch over for you.
So in case that you don't set up that parameter, and then you just like use only the manual switch over. In that case, you have data loss if you have a gap, right? If you have like a disaster and you are not there to switch, right?
The switch over is manually. As a DBA, you have to fix it because they say it's a planned event. It doesn't happen yet. So you have to remember, as a DBA, you have to switch over to set it on your database because it's a data guard. The way they said, data guard is disaster like is there because we can have a hurricane, we can have anything like Yvonne explained. So as a DBA, if you don't do it, you're gonna have data loss. So a switch over guarantee no data. So that's why they say it's planned. You have to plan it for no data loss.
That switch over, you don't lose any data because you're the one that planned that you want to switch this database. So everything was being put in place before you took that decision to switch over this database. It's just like you have your phone. You know that your phone is going to back up in the night. So you already took measures of it. Maybe you decided to remove your SIM and put in another phone so that in the night you switch over this phone to another. You will not lose any data because you already planned. That's how this switch over to works.
As a DBA, so the next we do
tell you something.
Yes,
Marine's problem, nobody has answered it because switch over, like we said, you do it at configuration. When you configure database, when you are configuring data guard, you enable the fast start failover. Fast start failover is there so that if something happens when you are sleeping, that fast start failover takes responsibility in switching the rules. Even if you are not there, it will switch. The primary will become the standby will become primary. Then when you get up from sleep now, you realize that something happened and the rules switch. Then you go ahead and troubleshoot what happened before you bring it up. So switch over is automated in configuration. But that is switch over. That is failover, I mean to say. But switch over now, switch over is you decide to switch, to change. For example, you have 2 rooms. Today you want to move some things from room 1 to room 2. You do that one manually. You go and switch over the rules. Say, okay, this room will be functional. This is not functional because I'm working something here. Then you come here and you fix what you were fixing here before you switch back the rules. So switching the rules, switching from primary to standby is done manually by you, the DBA. But the failover is already done at configuration. When you are configuring data guard, you set that parameter fast start failover so that it does that itself.
But both are done by DBA too.
But you do the other one, but at configuration. When you are building a house, you set up certain things in the foundation, right?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but the switch over, you switch over when you want. But
when you
failover, you do in configuration.
Yeah, I get you. You're right.
Okay. So
what was Marinette's question?
So Marinette was like asking if the switch over has to be done by you or some like is a process already inside of the database.
So it has to be done by you. The failover is a parameter in the database which you can decide to turn on or off.
My other question is, in case that you don't do that, switch off that fell over when you are setting up the database. If hold on.
Gonna have lost the data loss, right?
Yes, you lost the data.
Lost
If
the
you are
data.
supposed to do that configuration and you did not do it, maybe you
Yes,
came and while
in
you
that
were
case
sleeping,
that you
something
have
happened.
You build your house, you didn't close the window. The rain is raining outside.
Really? 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 Rain and window.
In Africa,
Oh
don't
gosh.
leave your window.
Another question.
Open.
Another
Wait,
question. If you
wait a
have
second,
that,
Marinette, please wait. Are you talking about the switch over or the failover?
Yes.
both.
You're talking about, she's talking about the failover, not the
We're
switch
talking
over.
about both. We are talking about both.
No,
The
she's
fell
saying
over.
if
Is it possible to
Because you
have
do it.
to set up the failover and then and do the switch over again in the same database?
Yes.
We're going to do that.
Yes.
You cannot do a failover and a
impossible.
switch over at the same time.
When you're
you
doing a
just-
switch over, you will disable failover.
Exactly.
Wait.
okay.
Please,
No.
you guys, I'm confused. Can someone please explain again?
Where were you?
Failover
Where were
and
you?
switch over.
Where were you in the
I was
class?
there. You didn't.
Come always back and ask, wait.
No.
Where
No,
were
she was in the kitchen. She was in the kitchen.
Because I think I am not getting it. Because according to me, I was like, maybe
This
it's something we do
failover,
manually
Yvonne
and automatically.
Let's go to that slide. Read it all
Yvonne
over
has said
again.
it.
Let me
And
go back to that.
understand it. Even if you don't understand why they are explaining to you, you get to understand.
Let's explain it one more time so that
You
everybody
see
will grab
switch
it
over,
again.
they just say
Yeah,
plan
Monica,
event.
you're right.
Monica,
you're right.
when we say fell over, it means somebody fell. How you want to explain something? Sweet with somebody sweet.
Explain to her now, please.
Why you say fell?
Explain to me now, Sakisa.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I'm not very involved as a human. When somebody say fell. What means fell?
Sakisa,
Yeah.
assume that she doesn't know the meaning of fail.
Okay, go back and explain, please.
A switch over is a planned event. You are planning like something can happen anytime. So let me be smart. Like we do have a smartphone, we do have everything now is smart. Let me plan this event. It can happen anytime. I will put my money in the bank before everything. So I do have my money in the bank. I also have my money in the house. Anytime I can just switch over. So meaning like, I'm just playing. So meaning like switch over is you plan that event so you can do it as a DBA manually. During the switch over, the primary database transition to a standby role and the standby database transition to the primary role. So you switch in case of something happen, but you set it in the database as a DBA. That's what is doing manually. As a DBA, you have to sit and set that switch over in your database. So fell over, we go back. I'm your teacher now. So let me go back. Where?
Thank you for our new TA.
So fell over is unplanned event. You don't know, something can happen anytime, but you don't know when. So a failover is automatically when you are sleeping, something happened by your sleep, something happened to your database, that failover is unplanned, but is like already set. It's going to fail automatically. The database, the standby, the primary became a standby, and the standby became a primary.
Sure. That one I'm talking that fail means
database. All instance of rack we can read now. Primary database fails. And one of the standby database is transitioning to take over the primary roles. The way I say is switch, but that one is failover is automatically done without you as a DBA. But switch over as a DBA, you have to set it up as a DBA in your database to plan that event. But that one is not planned. It's like a hurricane at night. It's like it's raining a lot as everything goes down, the light, everything is unplanned. So for the switch over, you plan it like something can happen. Let me put my money in the pocket. Something can happen. Let me put my car in the garage. But that one, you don't know. You are sleeping. They told you your car, your money, everything. That one is doing automatically as a failover. So the standby can become a primary, and the primary switch, the failover is that configuration who switch everything. The primary became a standby, and the standby become a primary. So we can go back and read.
Bibish.
No, you understand everything.
The explanation was perfect.
Yeah.
The explanation was
That's what I said, that
very
the word
perfect.
fail veut dire que tomber, échouer. Le mot suivant veut dire que arranger, changer. Very simple.
Exactly. I think I was really confused because I
Takisa,
thought
you're
you
right.
know-
But come on, you think I don't know DBA?
Yeah.
Renata, you say you're going to send me for DB1, eh? Send me that I see. I am the person who going to send you to DB1 now.
Oh my God. No, this thing is clear now.
By switch over and fell over.
That means that you configure the switchover and you set the failover.
Thank you.
You do failover
That becoming
automatically
proactive,
and
say what they say, Prof say proactive and
reactive.
And active.
yes, both reactive and proactive. One
Yeah,
is
it makes sense.
proactive, one is reactive. When the issue came, before the issue. So we can go to the next page. The next page is, okay. So data guard parameters. So we do have a database underscore name, specify the name of the database. It should be the same in the both and the standby and the productions. The database underscore unique underscore name. This specify a name that uniquely identifies the database in the data guard configuration. Every database DB underscore unique underscore name must be unique within the enterprise. Okay. Database underscore file underscore converts. Required if the standby database is on the same system as the primary database, or if the directory when the data files are located on the standby system is different from the primary system. So we do have also, those are parameters, control underscore file required. Specify the path name and the file name for one or more control files. Control underscore file underscore record underscore keep underscore time. Default is kept for 7 days. I think that one is because of the record keep time. The time the data of the control file can be kept by default is 7 days. Specify how long control file record will be kept from 0 to 365 days. They will be overwritten after this time. File underscore client and file server. The way we talk about file server, we talk about file clients. The file server, if I remember, is on primary, and the file client is on standby. Okay. So let's move to the next page. If there is no question, those are the parameters for data guard. Log underscore file underscore archive underscore conf data guard is recommended. Enables or disable the sending of the redo logs to remote destination and the receipt of remote redo logs, and specifies the unique database names. like db_unique_name for each database in DataGuard configuration. This parameter is enough to know whether the DataGuard is configured or not. So we do have log archive_format specify the logs, the archive logs format. So the log dest archive dest, the initialization parameter defines up to 10, where 1 to 10 destination, where he do alternate destination. So we do also have log_archive max process, specify the number background process you want Oracle to invoke initially. So we also have remote login password file, exclusive share known, set to exclusive, meaning the password file can be used by only one database. The password file can contain sys as well as non-sys user. Remote user can log into the individual accounts. The standby file management, auto or manual. Setting this parameter to auto so that when data files are added to or dropped from the primary database, corresponding changes are made in standby database without manual interventions. So you can set it manually or you can set it automatically. So that was those parameters. So you guys are seeing my screen or not? I don't know. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay. Why do we need standby log files? That's the question for everybody. Without standby Hedu log file, the Hedu logs or archive logs sent from the primary will be sent to the Hedu log file on the standby server. I never heard about what is the drawback. For the physical standby, we will not have any issue since so for the physical standby, we won't have any issue since it is in mount stage and a user are not generating change logs. But for a logical standby, for instance, if we open the database and user perform change, then the redo will overwrite the one received from the primary server. That is why all the Hedu coming from the prod database are recorded to the standby Hedu log file, then apply to the standby data file. So when we are talking about the prod database, it means the primary database, right? When we are talking about the prod.
Production database.
Yeah, production database.
I think it's going to be that's the primary.
Yes, the primary, because what we are saying here, the primary is a prod, is like the finally database, who's like the first database. Also, okay. So we also need standby Hedu log file on the primary server for failover or switch over purpose. Okay, it's like both sides, they also need Hedu log file on the primary server for failover. Because after the whole change, when we are talking about the whole change, is when it's switching, the primary become a standby, the standby become a primary.
Yeah.
The Hedu logs on the new primary database will be sent to the standby Hedu log of the new standby. If a standby Hedu log are not created on the primary, all transactions that were on the Hedu log of the standby will fail during switch over, and a gap will occur. So a gap is when the process is not shipping everything, there is a gap. So that gap, we are going to learn it, I think, to the next slide, because we cannot talk about gap. is not already here. Always configure standby HEDULOG file on both. So primary and standby, even if you are using archive HEDULOG apply. This configuration change purpose. Okay, so we are going to 21. High-level steps of manual data guard configuration. Enable forced logging. The forced logging option is the safe method to ensure that all changes made in the database will be captured and available for recovery in the HEDULOG, HEDULOGs. So that's why we use enable.
Yeah, Bibi, you remember in the script, that's the first thing with the script. Enable. Yeah.
Forced logging. So we enable forced logging. The option is the safe method to ensure that all the changes made in the database will be captured and available for recovery in the HEDULOGs. So we do also have make sure primary database is in archive log mode. We always know why we put everything in archive log, that for backup, we don't lose any data. So add a standby log file. Without the standby log file, the RFS process will archive the archived HEDULOGs coming from the primary database before the HEDU apply service RAS apply them to the data file, which will take more time. But with the standby HEDULOG files added, the archive HEDULOGs coming from the primary will go first on those files, and the RAS will apply them to the data file before the archive, which is faster. So we have to add also standby log file. We have to create a P file from this SP file. The P file is a parameter file we have to create from the server parameter file. So on the primary database for the standby database.
Okay.
So we are going to, it's not, no. Okay. So when we see P file, it's parameter file. When we see SP file, is the server parameter file. Okay. So we are going to edit.
I have a question. I know it's different from this one. Okay. When sometimes they say create P file from SP file and vice versa. When can we create a P file from SP file, and when can we do it from SP file to P file? Because I know that most of the time is create, we always create SP file from P file.
P file from
I mean, P file from SP file. But it seems like we can do it. When can we do it? The reverse.
For me, I think when you change. Okay, go.
I think.
Okay, Marinette, I think this is a good question. As for me, the first thing you need to know is that your database comes with an SP file automatically. I don't know if I'm wrong.
No,
you're right. You're right.
The database comes with the SP file automatically. So the first thing you want to do is create the P file from the SP file. Then, whenever you're working on your database and you make a change in your P file, this is when you want to create.
You make a change.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Those information has to match.
Exactly, the information has to match.
So it can be mounted. So everything can be the way the prof said in DB1.
Or when you have a corrupt SP file too, you can remove the corrupt SP file and you create.
Every time you treat the database and you make a change, it's not going to be the same. So when you start the database, the SP file is different from the P file because you made a change. So you have to know that change was made in my database. So when it's made to your database, you need the SP file to be the same with the P file.
Let me say something to add to what they say about our question. To me, what I also know, one from a better understanding for our question is that Renata explained, if ending it after creating the P file from the SP file, then now the more another reason is because, like what she asked, you know, you are creating when you are editing, you always edit by the P file because, like what Prof said, the SP file cannot be edited. You don't. That's why they always say don't edit the SP file. So anything you want to edit, because you already did a copy of the SP file with the P file. So the P file now has everything. So you always go to the P file to do anything, and then you create now the SP file from the P file, because the SP file you don't have to touch it to edit anything from it.
I think they said
yeah, in the and other scenarios. Remember, we have some command when we talk with that scope equal SP file, right?
Exactly.
When you do scope equal SP file, you now to make everything match, you have to create the P file from SP file on that scenario.
Like they used to say scope both.
Yeah. These things are important. The scope equals both, scope equals SP file, and all those things.
Again, the SP file, the
Oh,
is
Joe.
binary.
Yeah, Joe.
SP file is binary. It cannot.
When you say scope equal both, right?
Yeah.
So that means the change goes on SP file and in the memory.
Yeah.
Not in the P file.
Not in the P file.
Guys, I have a question, please.
Can you say it again, please?
Just one by one, please, Corinne.
So I said when you type the command with scope equal both, so the change is made.
Eggman, fix your microphone.
So
when you scope equals both, it means you are saying when the command is both memory and SP file.
Correct.
No.
So now you have to create the P file of SP file.
When you say scope equals both, that means you want that change to be effect for just a short period of time, just now.
Okay.
In the memory.
In the memory and in the SP file.
Yes, then the other one you have to switch, or you have to put the database down and then bring it up for the changes to take effect.
So when you say scope equals memory, that is going to take effect on both immediately. It's going to take place immediately on the memory. Because with scope equals both, you might not switch off. You might not do a shutdown or startup. Remember?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why they use so you avoid the switching and for it to take effect. So both now already applied to that.
Okay, Corinne, what was your question?
Yes, I want to say when you create the database using DBCA, you just have the SP file, right?
Correct.
You need to create the P file.
The P file from SP file.
When you create when you do manually, you have both, right? I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
Because remember, on the manual script you have to create, you type the command create
SP file from P file from SP
exactly,
file.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know I made that mistake in my database that I created. I did not, after creating on DBCA, I did not create the
in both scenarios, you have to create the P file from SP file.
Yeah, you have to remember to create it. Because even manually, you have to still create P file from SP file. Because if you forget that line, it won't still come.
No, I don't think so. It's when you make the change. That's why
Corinne, when you are creating a database.
No, when you're creating
SP file
database,
is going to
because
come
without
in.
the P file, your database cannot, what? It cannot mount.
No, you mean SP file?
No.
No, I'm talking
have
about
a control file.
A control file. Hey, Jesus.
Oh.
It's a control file.
Renata, where are you?
Control file.
Corinne.
Yeah.
creating a database manually or DBCA is going to create SP file. So you as the DBA has to now remember to create your P file from your SP file.
Okay. So can we move on?
Yes, I get it now. Thank you.
Welcome. Edit a P file on the primary database. Edit that SP file on the primary database. Set the following parameters. DB underscore name. Space. Oh, I was here, right? Did I read this already? Yes or no?
Not yet.
Really? The DB
That's why you should
DB underscore name. Or specify the name of the database. Oh, I was here, please.
That's where you're, yeah.
Yes, I have to go to the next page. So we talk about file server, file client, remember?
Oh, no. That's where you are.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We come back 2 times?
Yeah, go back, you will see. The person was explaining.
Oh, so we are going to see a DB underscore name. It specifies the name of the database. It should be the same in the both standby and production. So I think I remember I read this, please.
Go back,
Yeah.
Bibish. No, you haven't. We're talking about 2 things now.
I talk about this, I don't know.
Go back, yeah.
Look.
The first one was on data guard. Now we're talking about PIFA.
Okay, I think it's almost the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The DB underscore unique underscore name. This specifies a name that uniquely identifies the database in the data guard configuration alias. Alias, every database DB underscore unique underscore name must be unique within enterprise. I was here. Log underscore destination 1. When we see log underscore, most of the time when we are on SQL, we just fix those log underscore destination 1. So it determines the destination to which you will archive the Hadoop logs. Oh. Log underscore destination 2. Remove archive log destinations. Log file underscore convert. It converts the file name of the new log file on the primary database to the file name of a log file on the standby database. Data file underscore convert. It converts the file name of a new data file on the primary database to a file name on the standby database. File server and file client are used for gap resolution. By setting the file underscore server parameter on the primary, we are choosing the DN underscore unique underscore name of the standby that will be used in a scenario of failover or switch over. It determines for which server the primary will get its archive log on or Hadoop log from. Okay. Oh. Okay. Create a standby control file in the primary database for the standby database. Backup primary database using AMAN, alt or cold, will be used to restore the standby database. So we are going to backup. We are using AMAN or alt or cold backup. Edit the network file, tsname.ora or listener.ora. So to let the connection to be heard in the both server. Create a password file for standby database to enable authentication on the remote database. So the ORA PWD file is a password. So we know it's $oracle underscore omdbs for the password. So we force the password, yes. So first, in case there is a same file existing overriding. create a necessary directory for the standby database. FRA, audit destination, data file location. Edit a P file for a standby database. So we are going to edit by adding this DB underscore unique name of the standby database and file underscore server parameter for the primary and the log archive dest2 parameter for the standby. So for the primary, we are going to do by adding DB unique on that side. So we are going to edit the P file, and from the standby, we are going to do a log file and the log file primary from the standby. So log underscore archive dest is going to be changed on the P file, but on the standby database. So copy standby control file and P file to the standby server. So those are practical. Copy backup data file to the backup location and standby database. Edit the ORATAB file located in the standby server. Use the standby P file to start the instance and the standby control file to mount the database. Use RMAN to restore the standby database and put standby in recovery mode. To start the RMAP on the standby side, which is responsible for applying the archive redulogs onto the standby database. So is Altas database recovery manager standby database, no delay, disconnect from session. The way I said, when we see disconnect, sometimes we think is like we stop. Is to stop, it will be cancel. That is to start. This disconnect from station will be used to have a background process to take care of recovery. You are asking the RMAP to start applying the logs receiving from the primary to the standby. So we are asking the RMAP to start. So the process is the RMAP is going to start to apply. Disconnect from session, you want a background process, take care of the recovery while you cannot connect back to the sequence. To test log shipment, perform log switches from the primary database and query the sequence to see if both databases are in sync, meaning the database has to be synchronized. So to communicate A to B, B to A, select process status sequence from VDOLA manage underscore standby. Never check the data recovery sync with the archive log list commands. The command above can help you to know. That is the command. If you need to know if both databases are in sync, meaning everything in A is everything on B are synchronized. How to troubleshoot a data guard. First, check production status. Check archive underscore date 2 state is enabled. The way we talk about state 2, check the network between prod and data recovery. Check the log sequence on prod. Connect DR recovery and check the standby status. Check the RMAP process status. Check the RMAP log sequence, prod log sequence. Still issue, check both product and the data recovery alert log.
Bibish.
Yebo.
Bibish.
Yebo.
So when they say check production status, that is check what?
The status of your database.
Database, this is open. Okay, that's what I think.
Everything is open. Is it the way we read there? Is it in archive? Is it everything is communicating?
Yeah.
You have to check. So we do have some questions here. What are the cause of the log gap and how to resolve them? Sakisa, your question are coming. Sakisa, how to tune the apply process, RMAP or LS? What are the 12C DataGuard new features? What is the use of DataGuard Observer? What is fast sync and how does it work? So we do have some questions here. So the log gap, what are the cause of the log gap? So if we do have, the group have some questions or we do have some answer, we can answer what is the cause of the log gap is when process is not shipping, or in case of something or something happened to the process, it can create that log gap. So we can set it up when it's a small gap, the DataGuard will do it automatically. But when there is a big gap, you have to set it up and to try to fix everything back. So I think it's the last question, the last slide. So we are going to the practical, I think.
Good job, Bibish and Corinne.
Do the practical, we have to build those two databases, standby and primary. But at least we do have an idea for DataGuard is in case of disaster, is there for recovery. And if I can say, like, in general, when we do have DataGuard, is for disaster in case of hurricane, and the way they recommended the DataGuard, it cannot be in the same location just to avoid those disasters. So something can happen in Maryland, but it's not happening in Virginia, an example. So the primary can become a standby and the standby can become a primary by those process automatically switch or manually, we call it a manually switch over and automatically a fail over.
Okay, Joseph, Marinette, and Monica, are they there? Joseph, Marinette, and Monica. Let me see, Marinette, Monica.
Yes.
Joseph is not there yet. See, I'm trying to replace somebody like Anita told me she's not gonna be available on Saturday, so she can take one of you guys. Like, can I switch? So instead of upgrade and patching, instead of Anita doing upgrade and patching, she can do Golden Gate, and Golden Gate they have Joseph, Marinette, and Monica.
Saturday, 14th.
Yeah, Saturday. The presentation for upgrade and patching is Saturday. Joseph, Monica.
Joseph. I don't know if Joseph is there.
Okay, Monica, you can do it.
My database is my server is not working.
Ah, so it's gonna be me and Joseph. I will run away.
I'm gonna use mine.
Okay, so Monica, you can do Golden Gate, right?
I didn't say Golden Gate. I said
you want to do upgrade and patching?
Monica, we do Golden Gate with. It's not Joseph, Monica, and me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anita wants to switch because she will not be available on Saturday. So I wanted that if anybody, any of you wants to do upgrade and patching instead of Golden Gate, so Anita does Golden Gate.
I don't know my schedule for next week. I know Saturday I'm going to be free from 6:20. So
you want to do it? Oh, okay.
I can do Saturday. For next week, I don't know my schedule yet.
Okay, so that's fine. You're gonna do upgrade and patching, and I'll put.
What would I do upgrade and patching? How many are we in the group?
Desmond and David. 3 of you guys.
They'll do it now.
Okay. And upgrade and patching, I think is the most. And no, I forgot. You need to do upgrade and patching. I think it's upgrade using.
And we install.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we don't have to install. We already have our.
You have to. Oh, you don't even have. That's why I just took 1 day for that, because you already have all the software. The most important part is no. I think there's something you do manually. Is it upgrade?
That patching is not manually.
Yeah, there's something.
Upgrade is manually is
manual, and you exactly it is upgrade.
So-
Exactly, yeah. I wanted you guys to do the upgrade on. No, you have to upgrade, of course. I wanted you guys to do the upgrade on DBUA, Datapom, Golden Gate.
What happened?
Since you have already done Golden Gate, so you do it on Datapom, DBUA, and Golden Gate, and manually. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And manually, then you do the patching. Yeah, so since you download, one of you guys will download Golden Gate and try to do the upgrade using Golden Gate. Another person will use Datapom, and another one DBUA. Another one will do it manually. Then you will just
We're just
apply the
three.
patch.
First 14. We're just three.
Another person will apply the patch. So I'll just, yeah, that's it. I'll just.
I need that patch because I didn't attend the class that day. Patching and
Even me, I need that patching until.
I don't even understand patching. I have to go and start reading now.
Please, Tia,
Monica,
please just do it. I don't know.
David is here.
I don't have an idea.
And Elman.
I just really need it.
I'm confident.
I need to call Desmond. I haven't heard from him, and I haven't seen him in meetings for a while.
Yeah, always there. That means something is wrong.
It's wrong.
Used to be connected even late.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we are done with the slides, so I think we're good to go.
And which is really helpful. At least we have an idea of what data guard is really about. It's not about the
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it's true.
You know, this project is good. It's really like it's not like in DB1 or DB2 behind where all the I don't like that. I didn't like that where SQL you have DB underscore where all the employees start by. I was like, oh my God. But
I saw DB2 students today. They were saying that no, they were talking like no, we know that by December we will be no,
yeah, right.
by February they will be done and all those stuff.
You have the job,
I
right?
was just laughing.
That is
I was
a
just
dream.
laughing.
They want the dream to come
February
true.
out. But
They
no,
were saying that by February they will be done with Bontek, everything.
no.
Will be in the market. I was just laughing, like, let me just
stop recording.
Said DB underscore.
let me just let them
data.
continue dreaming.
I swear those things will drive you crazy. Where username equal.
Equal or whatever.
Not that you missing parentheses. Missing like parentheses.
Vacha, to name phone where
Vaca one, Vaca this, and oh my goodness.
I was like, oh my God, I'm going to stop this. DB2, I didn't get it.
And it was so fast. Vinada was moving very fast.
And when you ask questions, act like, oh, so you don't know? I said Vaca too. What even mean Vaca until you
but
say
honestly, she's a good teacher though. She's
really good.
For a TA.
She's patient. She's patient.
Oh, that lady, she will get a good job. And
she's patient. Even if you insult her, she will just stay calm.
She's still teaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard that, yeah.
I did cloning in the morning with them, with Emma. They're still teaching.
Wow. So she doesn't want a job now or what? They are not ready yet?
They are not yet in the market. I think now they are in the interview room because they were in school today. Yeah, they're in the interview preparation, I mean. Yeah.
But for me, I think she's ready. I don't know what interview room she's
The
looking
truth is that I realized that DB2 project is so different world. She might be ready for DB2.
Yes,
but
that's the problem.
project
She can be
is
like
too
struggling
different
with
world.
project. But the way she understood things in Emerald, she will get a good job.
Oh, she will get.
Maybe she doesn't have papers.
She will get. And it has become so difficult to get a job with a working permit. So the DBA job.
Even the IT job, that's what I heard. Unlike before, it's not so difficult because once they see you're an African,
so difficult.
They already know all the tricks.
Exactly, especially since they discovered that they are fake ITs.
Yeah, now they know that people take interview for people, all those things. They already know.
Wow. So they already know it. Yeah.
Takisa, stop.
That's the latest news. They know it so well.
They know those things now, and I'm sure it's somebody that will still go and tell them that.
Exactly.
This is what people do.
Crazy. How can they go there and be talking something like that?
Something to say.
People get carried away.
Oh.
When I tell you that the people who are in the market, the students in class 24, they are doing fasting and praying. The person it is not working. It's not working.
I said all those
again.
I'm fasting. It's not easy.
Are you going to teach
you can fasting? Okay.
Yeah, fasting and praying.
Wow.
She knows that she has money. She's getting a good money in the morning, and I don't know when she's working on social worker.
Oh.
Remember Renalda Marine? She
told yes. Oh, she's
good money. Good money is never gonna be.
Who is a social worker? Renalda.
Yeah.
I need a job.
And she's a teacher on top of that, so she make maybe like $200 per hour now.
And that's a good schedule.
But you did not even give us that information for the social worker, Rena. I'm still waiting.
Okay.
And that guy or whoever will give you, don't forget about us so that you can make money.
Can make extra money.
Mm-hmm. We need it.
Hopefully, when we are done with this CBA, we get jobs because this thing is frustrating. It is frustrating. I'm not seeing myself going to register again for a 4 months class, even 4 months. I don't see myself registering again.
The meeting is done. Can I stop recording, please?
Yeah.
No, long time ago.
I was on phone. Please, can I stop recording so you can make some Tony? You can make some miscellaneous. Okay, let me stop recording. Okay.
Now they say they even question your certificates, like when you have 5, 6 certificates, they're like
exactly
because the person interviewing you only has one.